All right, mic check, mic check. One Masters Podcast, host man, of course. I got a special guest across me right now, man. My guy, screenwriter, director, you know what I'm saying? Uncle, everything. Karlton Clay, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Karlton T.Clay. Let me just say Karlton T.Clay. You know, I'm so used to calling you Karlton Clay. I don't call you Karlton T.Clay. Karlton T.Clay, man. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Good.
You got some big things going on in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? You just dropped the movie.
Yeah. This is my actually my 9th film. It's entitled Pastor Thorn, Lust of the Flesh.
Hey, I watched it. I liked it. Before we get into the movie, though, I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Just tell the people a little about yourself, man. And you've been on here plenty of times, but I mean, like I said, the audience have grown since I first met you.
Right.
Which was seemed like forever now, but five years ago, something like that.
Yes, sir.
I think it was 2017. I think 2017, something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, my name is Karlton T.Clay. Born and raised here in Augusta, Georgia. I graduated from Davidson Fine Arts, class of 2004. Went to Georgia State University, graduated from there 2008. I'm a leukemia survivor. This year is my 20th year in remission. So, blessed to be here. And, I've been writing for a minute. I started Victory Productions. We did our very first play in 2003. I started doing web series in 2006. And we just been moving and growing ever since. I did my first feature film in 2020. It came out in 2020. One of our series, Sweet Mahogany. It got picked up by a distribution company after a festival, and they wanted to distribute our stuff. So we turned Sweet Mahogany into a movie, and then from then on, we've been making feature films and stuff like that.
And I'm cutting you off because I know I said it before, but I got an uncle. Now I wouldn't say this story. I'm sorry. I gotta keep telling the story. I got an uncle, right? Who he was staying with us for a little while because my grandma was very ill, and so he was staying with us for a while. Everybody helped take care of her, and I had this thing. He had this thing where for some reason like he was grown. He's grown. You know what I'm saying? He's my uncle. You know what I'm saying? So all my life I'm looking up to him. But he had this thing where at night sometimes I would walk out the room and like he'd change the channel. So like I'm like, you know how kids do that, change the channel. I'm like,
right.
Oh, cool. One day I happened to come home and I'm looking on the TV. I'm like, and it's Sweet Mahogany. And I guess he's watching Tubi or something. I'm not sure what he's watching, right? And I'm like, yo, what you know about this? He's like, oh, I love this, man. When is part 2 coming out? I'm like, hey, you know I record with the guy who made this film. Like, to me, it's a big deal, you know what I'm saying? Right. But he's like, like I'm ruining his moment. I guess it's his evening because I guess he can't watch what he want to watch because he paused it when I walked in.
Right.
And I always thought that Sweet Mahogany, even though you're saying like now you say you're the 9th feature film.
Yeah.
But you started in 2020 with the films?
The films, yeah, 2020.
And you're only in 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talking your shit just now. But it's all good. I say that because that was the first thing I saw and I was like, oh, I felt like, I don't know if your writing changed around that time, but like you something changed with whatever you were putting out at that time. I felt like that was like the beginning of the first shift where you started being more controversial with your writing and what you display on the screen.
Yeah. I actually, and I gotta give a shout out to my boy Nelson J. Davis. Lover's Lane actually was, I would say, the shift. As far as like going like really stepping out the box as far as like going the adult things.
And what was that feedback like though? Because you was before that, right? You are Karlton T.Clay. I don't know what they even put you under because a lot of your writing is always done, but it's centered around not spirituality, but just more like church.
So before when I started out, I was a lot more conscious as far as like, all right, what are we putting before the people? And I want to just get this straight. Like what I do now has nothing to do with my my relationship with Jesus. Like I'm still 1,000% down with Jesus, still 1,000% Christian, all that stuff.
Definitely.
I just decided to just not think about what other people would think. I think that's what it was. So before, I mean, we were still telling these type of stories, but we just weren't going all the way there with it. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the nudity and the word, the choice of words and everything.
Very detailed illustrations now.
Yeah, but I think like when I just got to a point, I was just like, this character would do this. He would actually say MF or he would say the N word or whatever. So I'm like, I need to go there with these characters, you know. And I think before it was more so just fear about what people would say about me, and also I'm very protective of my family too. I'm very protective of my parents. Like my father's a pastor, you know what I'm saying. My mother first lady, well, co-pastor of the church. So I'm protective of them as well. And I didn't want people to like say things about them as far as like how they were raising us and everything, you know. And honestly, once my parents was like, you know, you grown, you know, do, you know, whatever, then it is what it is. Like I see, even with the stuff I do now, like my mom, it's funny because like my mom likes to watch my stuff, but I have to warn her when scenes are gonna pop up. And when I say scenes, I mean like the sex scenes. She don't like to watch that stuff. Even with regular TV, you know what I'm saying? Like she don't like to watch those type of scenes. So I'll be like, all right, mom, scene about to come up, so she'll close eyes or whatever. But she'll still watch it. And she'll be like, yo, this was really good. So I mean, like I said, I just had to step outside my fear of what people were gonna say. Once I made that decision, it was easy for me just to keep pushing. Like I remember when I first started doing partial nudity, and I got an inbox message from an old church member, and I was just like, so this is what you chose to watch versus all the other clean stuff that I used to put out that you never commented on. I was like, man, forget it. I'm not even. This ain't even for you. It's as simple as I'm not gonna watch, or it's as simple as fast forwarding. That's how I look at it. And also too, another thing too, not to throw these other shows under the bus, but it seems like a lot of times, you know, these same people, they'll watch, you know, P-Valley, they'll watch Power, they'll watch The Chi, they'll watch all the stuff that got way more stuff than what my stuff has in it. They'll watch that comfortably. Hey, they'll even watch porn comfortably. But when it comes to my stuff, it would be an issue. So once I got out of my head about that, man, it is what it is now.
Well, I was going to ask you that, and I'm glad you said it. I was going to ask you how much of an influence your parents were in the decision to step out that box because of their professions or their titles and what they are to the community, what they're known as.
Right.
And now that you said that makes sense. And once you got their blessing, it's kind of like, if they say it's okay, I'm good. Like, we good to go.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, again, it's just one of those things where, you know, my parents understand and recognize that all their children are grown. They've done their job. They've raised us to the best of their ability. You know what I'm saying? So now it's just like we have to live our lives. You know what I'm saying? So, but at the end of the day, like I said, once my parents weren't giving me flack about it. Again, not saying that they're necessarily happy with every single thing that I put out, but they're not coming down my neck about it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, yeah, who cares about what John from the church that I ain't seen in 20 years say? You know what I'm saying? Like I do know a John. I'm not talking about the John that I know, but that's the name that just came to my mind. But I don't really. Like it was more so like church folk. And I'm just like, I don't have a relationship with you, so what you say doesn't really hold any weight with me. So.
Well, I wanted to touch on something you said probably a little minute ago. You was like how you started Victory Productions in 2004.
I started, so my battle with cancer started in 2002. God gave me the vision for it in 2002 while I was dealing with that. I did my first play in 2003.
Got you.
So yeah, I did my very first play in 2003. That's the first play I directed. The first play that I actually directed that I wrote was in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but we actually, for Victory Productions officially started Halloween night of 2003.
And so you got an even date. That's crazy, right? So like, I asked that because you say 2003, right? You go from there. So October 31st, 2003.
Yeah.
And then you think of 2020, your first feature film.
Yeah.
Right? I want you to kind of explain that 17 years. That's a long time to be grinding and to stay grounded and to stay somewhat true to self. You know what I'm saying? Like how explain to me how you went those years and just keep pushing, keep trying, keep putting out content and just keep trying different things until something works.
Yeah. So honestly, I think you know this already, but I never really wanted to do films. Honestly, it was people all the time be like, yo, you should start doing films. I was like, no, I don't think I want to do that.
You like series only? That was your
I was all about. I like series. I love being able to write different seasons, create different characters, like allow them to grow. With the movie, with the film, you only have such a time period of this character development. Me and Megan like to use this word, character development.
Yeah, my favorite term in that film world is character development.
So you only have a limited amount of time. You can't assume that you're gonna get a sequel or a trilogy or whatever. You got that movie to tell that story and to develop that character. With the series, you got time to develop and you got time for characters to change, shift, all that good stuff. So that's what I love about shows, about series and everything. But that 17 years, man, it definitely has been a journey. Like I said, my first show I did in 2006 while I was in college. It was called College Days, and I didn't know what I was doing. I ain't gonna step in front. Like I took classes. Of course, I did it at Davidson. I was doing it at Georgia State, but I was thinking more so theater. So when I was filming, I wasn't thinking about. So I learned the different shots in school, but again, when you're a one man band, you got time. And then think about it too. Again, we in college, we got classes. People doing fraternities and sororities, and they got other different groups. I was working at the school newspaper at the time too, so it was just like. Time is of the essence. You ain't got time to be like, all right, I gotta get these different shots.
Yeah.
I used to set up the camera, press record, and we just went at it like it was theater. Like we did it in that one set and we kept it pushing. And I gotta give a shout out to my Georgia State friends because like they really didn't have to do. None of them were actors. They were just like they did it because they loved me, and I definitely appreciate them because they were my foundation, my building block to where I am now. So
were these like stage plays type things?
No, the College Days was actually a show. I actually wrote 8 episodes first season. It was a show I was developing for my college television station that I wanted to do. But the guy gave me the runaround. He was like, I'm gonna check. We did like a pilot type film, and he was like, I'm gonna look at it. He never looked at it. My homeboy Lamont Johnson built me a website, and then I just started putting the shows on the website. This was before YouTube, because YouTube before you're gonna do like 2 minutes of content. So it wasn't even on YouTube then.
This is crazy. I remember, and this is just a little YouTube thing. I remember when I first started doing videos, I was having Brooke, and I think people was just dying. They having kids on the way. Like, damn, if I say something was happened to me, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I want her to have a video, see my mannerisms, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So you used to put stuff out, but you couldn't put more than, I think it was 15 minutes. So I used to always have to edit my videos or try to cut it off to 14, 59.
They grew to 15 minutes, bro. Cause they used to, like I said, it literally used to be just 2 minutes.
I'm just showing. That's just the gauge. That's just the stage. Like when you started, way before me, of course, you started your stuff. 2 minutes. I saw it was 15. Now you can put 3 hours on that. Right, you good to go. You know what I'm saying? It's unlimited now. Right. You got to become a member, all that type of stuff. So YouTube definitely came their own long way too. But I was gonna say, you said pilot. You said it started off as a pilot.
Yeah, it was like we did like a little movie. It was like it says so. I did a movie called Dear Diary, right? I don't ever show anybody these movies. Kendra would be like, you need to show people these movies. I'm like, no, I'm not showing these people because it's trash.
Dear Diary is trash?
Like now, if you look at it, you be like, bro.
You gotta put it out, bro. Put it out for sale. Just put it out for sale. $9.99.
No, I wouldn't even sell that, bro. I'll get that for free, bro. I mean, it's just, it's so cringy. But I did a movie.
Reshoot it. Huh? Reshoot it. You a different pen now.
I'm good. I'm good on that.
What is it about? What is it about? What's
Dear Diary was about. It was basically based off one of my former friends who I went to school with. Her mom at the time, was going through a divorce, and I was like literally, I wasn't in it, but I knew because I was real close to her. Like I knew everything that was going on, right? So I wrote about it, and so I did the short film based on that. And then we did 2 more after that. One was based on my character. My character's name was Eugene, and I basically took my character around Georgia State in that second short film. And that was the quote-unquote pilot to College Days.
Okay.
Yeah, it was...
was the person who was involved, was they okay with you doing this?
Yeah, she was fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was fine. And then the person was... And she's also diagnosed with breast cancer, too. So the third film... She's fine now. She's in remission, praise the Lord. The third film was based on her dealing with breast cancer.
Okay.
So it was pretty much based off of that. But that's how it all got started.
Well, I asked about the pilot thing because I was going to say pilots and you got to my knowledge, what I know, it's a funny relationship because a lot of times you start a pilot for something, what you started for maybe didn't work out, but then went on to do something else. Because even we did Fine Ice, that was a pilot. It was for something totally different. You hit me up, you was like, XYZ, I can't remember what it's about now, I don't know, right? So it was like, XYZ want to do this, so let's do this pilot show. Right. Let's see what's going on. We sent it off. I don't think nothing came back of it. But then we just kept doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, 2 years, 3 years later, we still recording. So pilots have actually been a good thing for you. A good thing in disguise every time.
It's funny because, like I said, I've done a couple of pilots. So I know people know me from one of my shows called Brotherhood, right? Actually, I did a pilot called The Brotherhood, but it was called Brotherhood. And it's completely different from what you see now. It's about the original show pilot was about 5 guys. They were friends that grew up together, and they had whole different. They had different situations, similar to what Brotherhood is now. But I sent it off to Gospel Music Channel, which it used to be what Up TV is. That it used to be called Gospel Music Channel. Mm-hmm. So I sent it off to them. It actually was like going through the stages, and then it didn't get picked up. So then from there, I just kind of I put it on YouTube for a hot minute, and then it just, the YouTube story. So then, what's another pilot I did? I did another pilot called The Right Way. It was for a competition. Obviously, we didn't win, but that ended up being Redemption for Easter. Okay. So I changed that. I changed
feature film.
Yeah, feature film. So it's Redemption for Easter. Yeah. So
seeing wins, man. I don't know. I'm seeing all these wins, man.
Yeah, man. The pilots have a funny way, and it was funny because I just shot a pilot for a network, a streaming service network, actually, and I submitted it. We didn't get picked up for the fall season because by the time I finished editing it, and I knew this was gonna happen. By the time I finished editing, I missed they already had put their fall schedule together. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at possibly, and I don't want to say too much because I'm a big believer in not putting too much out there. You don't want to abort your blessings and stuff like that because people be doing some crazy stuff. So I'm waiting until I'm trying to get it for the spring season. So I'm gonna resubmit it and see. And I've sent it to some other places too. So I'm just trying to stay back. It's a really, I'm telling you, man. I'm praying somebody like gets this because this is a really, really good story. It's really the people that we got in this show that we put together. I mean, you've seen them before in my stuff, but I'm saying like it's a lot of hard work. It's music involved. It's Claude Deuce did his thing with the music. It's a lot. It's a really good. We shot it as like how how Being Mary Jane was a movie at first. Yeah. That's how we did it. We shot as a movie, and so we're looking to continue it as a series after that. So we'll see what happens.
Karlton T.Clay fashion.
Yeah.
Series. There we go. Hey, so this is a not a tough question, but so where does your writing come from? Like what inspiration do you get from your writing? Because a lot of your writing comes from whether it's centered around the church, I don't know, the Bible, pastors. It's like I think it's an audience that like when you got a mixture of the word, scriptures or just church in general with a mixture of like deception and sin and greed and those type of things. But you able to put that stuff together well. Like where does that come from when you writing? Like where does the information come from?
So I think
or where do you pull from rather?
Right. I think when you say that, I think people just like to see the real. You know what I'm saying? I think people like I'm real 1000% a Jesus follower, but at the same time I still make mistakes. I'm human. Like I got urges, I got things going on, I like to do and stuff like that. So I mean,
urges is a funny word, but go ahead.
Urges, yeah, we all have urges.
Now do your thing. Go ahead, talk about it.
But I'm just saying, but seriously, like I'm human. You know what I'm saying? So I think people like to see people with the mask off. I think a lot of times, we get. I don't want to say trouble. We get into all this controversy because we're constantly wearing masks, and then when we do mess up, it's like, oh my god. So I think if we're a little bit more authentic, I think things will be a little bit better. But for me, as far as my writing, I like my characters to be authentic. No character is 100% good, and no character is 100% bad. I believe in the writings that I do. Now you do got characters that are like for instance, the passed on brother. I know people can't stand him, and I know he's like 1000% like bad on everybody's list. But I felt like he still has some. Okay, so how do you get to this point?
Right.
You got to get to that point. It's not. I don't believe anybody's like just born like, oh my God, I'm like real evil. I think it's something that happens in your life throughout time that's like, all right, that's how you got there. And I wanted to make sure on brother that I actually showed that a little bit, but that's neither here nor there. See, and the same thing even with Pastor Thorne. It's the same thing. It's like nobody's 100% good, nobody's 100% bad. So I just like we're all human. We have those. We all have the potential to go one way or the other. I believe. So, yeah, I believe that's what people want to see. But to answer your question about inspiration, I remember the first Tyler Perry play I saw, like the very first one I saw. And honestly, Tyler Perry was actually one of the first like people I saw that was like how you could show church people, but actually tell real stories. It's not like they're all, all church and they don't do anything wrong. Like they literally had a lot of stuff going on with them. So he was like actually one of the first writers that I saw that did the mix.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, that's what I want to do. Because again, I grew up in church. I am the church, and it's like I want to still tell those type of stories, but at the same time, I still want to tell real life things that happen. So I know that's kind of where I first saw that. I was like, okay, yeah, I could do that too.
Yeah, see, you said now. So two things. One, you're real good. I see what you did. You're real good. So
what did I do?
Because you're here, and I know we got the Pastor Thorne we doing, and you doing the Brotherhood like a few times. So now people gonna watch it and go back to Brotherhood. I like that. You did good. So I have to ask you this question first. I'm gonna help you out because you're my man, right? Which pastor is worse in your opinion, the pastor from Brotherhood or Pastor Thorne?
Pastor from Brotherhood. 1,000%.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, Pastor Thorne was pretty bad.
Now, Pastor Thorne is off the chain, too. But nah, man, Pastor Jonathan Miller. Shout out to Reggie Freeman. It was hard. He's horrible. Let me ask you that then, because I know I got casting questions to ask you, so I'm gonna get to that later. But like, what was the mindset? Like, why not pick him for this particular role? He already had the pastor role of like being a bad pastor or evil pastor. But I don't know if it's a bad pastor. I'm gonna say a human pastor. Let's say that, right? Yeah,
a lot of mistakes, right? Why not him for that role? No respect to the person that played it, because he played it well. I'm just asking that question.
Right. I think honestly, and I love working with Reggie 1,000%. I think
he's real good.
Reggie's been like the pastor in like a lot of my stuff, and I was just like,
ain't anyone got slapped?
Huh?
Is anyone got slapped? Or no? It's a scene where somebody gets slapped. I remember.
He got slapped by his mom.
Okay, I remember being on set.
Yeah,
that was a lot of slaps, bro.
Yeah, he got slapped by his mom.
I was like, I'm texting like, yo, I don't know if I can get slapped on camera. He gets slapped a lot. So it was a lot of slaps. Yeah, I shot it more than one time. It was a lot of slaps.
Different angles. Reggie was playing a lot of preacher roles at the time, and I was just like, yeah. But honestly, with Pastor Thorne, I really wanted Marquise to play the part. Like because I love working with Marquise. Marquise has been in several of my things. He was I first saw him on the web series What's Your Chocolate? Shout out to my boy Tim McCallum. I hope I said his name right. His last name right. He created What's Your Chocolate. I watched that show, and Marquise was on there, and I was like, yo, this dude is really good. And so I reached out to Marquise, and I was like, yo, I really would love to work with you. And he was on the third season of Bondage. We did My Life. We did it was like a mini series that we did, and he's on The Assistant.
Bondage is on Vimeo, right?
Yeah,
and it's a sex show. I'm just asking the question, bro. It's funny.
This man says it's a sex show.
It's HBO After Dark, pretty much. It's one of those shows, right?
Okay, I'll give you that. It's HBO After Dark.
Yeah, okay.
But I wouldn't necessarily categorize it as a sex show. It's about sex.
Strong sexual content.
It's very strong sexual content because it's about an escort who has a sex addiction.
Would you look at that?
So
gotcha. I'm just I'm making them intrigued. That's all.
No. I mean,
hey, like you said, people hear sexual, they gonna go straight to it.
If you like stuff like that, then I would definitely suggest you check out Bondage. But it's more to that. It's a lot. It's a lot of things in Bondage that is like it's.
Yeah, the writing is good in Bondage though. It's not just that.
No, it's not just definitely not just sex. The characters on there. They're different characters on there. They have different. They're bonded by different things. They have different addictions. So, but the main character. Again, played by Nelson J. Davis. His name is Bond, and he is a sex worker. He actually has to get into it because of a certain reason. There's a reason why he has to go back into escorting.
Right, I remember.
But again, he has a sex addiction, so that it kind of he's back in the world that plays with what he's addicted to. So yeah, it's an interesting show. We are set to try to finish that out because the people been asking for a final season. We did 3. In my mind, we wrapped it up, but the people want a 4th season. And I was all right. We can give y'all. This will be it. Because again, me and Nelson are really busy with other. Like he's doing his own thing. He's got a whole bunch of movies out too. He's doing his own thing with his production company too. So we're just trying to figure out how the schedules can collide.
The guy that played Biggie Smalls in the Biggie Smalls movie, I can't think of his name right now. His rap name is Gravy. I know him from rap. I know him not personally, but I've seen him in life. I used to go to school and I used to see him when I was going to school sometimes.
Okay.
Because he's a street rapper, right?
Gotcha.
And his name is Gravy. And so now to see him doing what he's doing now, I'm like, dang, he come from where I come from. That's a big deal. But I watched one of the movies and he was in there. Nelson was in there. I'm like, yo, what? And it's like, but the dude Gravy got a whole big deal with. He's in a bunch of movies. I think like Turned Up was a movie that he was in.
Yeah, it's like two.
He a lot of them tight. Super Turn.
Yeah.
He a lot of them top Tubi movies, and it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. I wanted to ask you something before we get into the Tubi stuff though, like, and it's I don't know how can I word this, but like, so with you coming up in the church, like you said, you are the church. Obviously, what you see is different than what somebody like me would see because I'm in and out. I don't be in, and I don't know what. I know pastor, and he's the pastor, so he's good to me, right?
Yeah.
But then you know more about the church because like you've been in different churches, you've been in churches for a longevity. You've seen, I guess, ownership change for this pastor. You probably heard conversations like that. So like when you around that most of your life, is that where you get like some of the like I ain't saying corrupt, but like, like I guess the corrupt writing as far as like I'm gonna make this person do that, I'm make this person be an addict on this, but even though like how is that where that come from? Do you ever pull from experience rather?
Got you.
And not your family.
No, I got you. No, not necessarily. I think what it is because I mean, people know most people in the Augusta know me. I went to Grady and Zion, right? So
I like that pastor, by the way. Pastor Blunt.
Yeah, Pastor Blunt, that's my guy. He's my sister's godfather. Like that's my like. That's who I grew up under. Like, I was there since I was little till my dad started his church. You know what I'm saying? My dad studied under him and everything. So, like, I didn't really see a lot of, I guess, change. Pastor Blunt's still the pastor now. So, like, I'm still, I didn't go through that. Like, the reason why I left was because my father got called to start his ministry. So, of course, I'm going with my dad. I mean, I ain't really had no choice. I was a teenager then, you know what I'm saying? But even still, even if I was an adult, I would definitely go with my dad. You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't really see a lot of like regime change and stuff. I didn't see all that. It was more so me moving churches or whatever. But to answer your question, no, I don't think I didn't get any. My storylines don't really come from like stuff I've seen necessarily. There might be little subtle things, but like the real crazy stuff. I see pastors as human. I don't see pastors as I don't see pastors as mini God.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't put a lot of people put pastors on pedestals. A lot of times the reason why is because the pastors put themselves on pedestals sometimes. So that happens. But me personally, I don't see that. I see pastors as human. I see that they can go through the same exact stuff that we go through. The only difference is a lot of people will know about it because they're in the light. You know? So that's how I see it.
So none of your stuff about Pastor Blunt, we got it.
No, definitely not. No,
now, I like that pastor for like. And I'm not into. I know I joke a lot, but in seriousness, I always say like I don't do the church thing like that.
Yeah.
But anytime I've been in there, I always felt like when he did preach, like I always took something from it.
He's
like,
amazing. He's an amazing pastor teacher. Amazing. Like again, if I could say this with full confidence, if my father didn't start his ministry, I would definitely still be there.
Episode. Like
I'm just saying, like that's where we
you gotta get Pastor Blunt in the film.
Huh? Pastor Blunt is not acting.
You never know, man.
Pastor Blunt is not acting.
Just have him be the pastor at a church.
Pastor Blunt is not
and go
acting.
record a Sunday session.
That is not happening. That is not happening.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know, man.
No.
Karlton T.Clay, your name might pull some strings. You never know, man.
I mean, I could personally ask him like, "Hey, Pastor Blunt, would you be in my film?" But I mean, he's gonna say no.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah,
I know that. I know that for a fact.
He might not say no, but
he's gonna say Fred. No,
Fred.
He called me Fred.
Oh, okay.
So it's a story behind that. Why he calls me Fred?
Why? I mean, I don't even know. Yeah, I went to Freds and did something or something. Like, I went to Freds.
No. So
he just give out names?
No. So it was this lady that used to go to our church. She didn't know that I was my mom and dad's child. She just thought I was just a random at the church. And she thought my name was Fred. And so that's what Pastor Blunt heard the conversation, so that's why he just called me Fred.
Got you, okay.
But I don't understand why she didn't know that I was their child, because I mean, I do look like my mom. So, Anyway, and I was always around my mom and the kids and the rest of my siblings.
That lady pissed you off, didn't she?
Huh? At the time, I was pissed off because I was like, "You trying to make me disowned?" No, because honestly, it used to be like, it used to be kids and teens that used to come around the church that, they weren't coming with their parents. They were just coming to the church. So I guess she thought I was one of them. And I was like, no, my dad's Reverend Clay and my mom is Sonya Clay, the church secretary. So
Fred, Karlton, let me.
And you just tried to just did.
Let me. I want to get into the film a little bit, right?
All right.
So, like I said, this is ninth feature film.
Ninth feature film.
Ninth. So you got 8 more. Eight ahead of this, right?
Yes. Can I name them?
You can name all of them.
I can. So we have Sweet Mahogany, which was a series, but Sweet Mahogany, we got Reindeer Games. We have Sweet Mahogany 2, Pure Indulgence, and then we have Redemption for Easter. We got My Brother's Keeper. We have Sisterhood, which was a series and also is a film now. And then we have A Very Merry New Year, The Assistant, and then with Pastor Thorne.
Oh, wow.
That's 9.
And you knew all of them. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
So is this one any more special than any other one? Like, is this...
This one's super special just because it's based off a play. I wrote this play in 2009 called Surrender. It was we did it at a lot of churches here in Augusta. We did it, and then we did it a couple across in the region or whatever back then. And yeah, I was like, I think this would be a dope movie. So I had to find it. I took the play, and I of course changed some names, changed some things, kind of evolved it a little bit, and then I wanted to originally call the movie Surrender, but then Maverick already has a movie in their catalog called Surrender. So when I approached them about it and then we talked, they was like, "What do you think about making this?" I'm gonna go ahead and say it. They said, "What do you think about making this a trilogy? Doing a three film thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'll be dope." So this Pastor Thorne is out. It's the first, so we're doing 2 more after this. So there you have it. More than the Masters exclusive.
I like that because I watched the film. We're not gonna get into too much of the film. I want to watch it, but I watched it and I felt like it was more needed to be.
Yeah.
I felt like it wasn't finished.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be.
So that's dope.
Yeah. There you go.
So let me ask you this. So I want to ask about the cast first, right? Before we get into anything with the movie. So just for us, what's your favorite character in this particular film? Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character in the film. My favorite character in the film is actually I have 2. Pastor Thorne's actually my favorite character, actually, and Sade.
Sade.
Yeah.
Who's Sade?
She's the cousin's girlfriend.
Got you. Okay, so what goes into like the casting of something like this? So it's a feature film, so obviously it's business around it. So you're getting certain people in, and do you still do the auditions for it, or do you just kind of pick and choose who you want? Do they have to audition? Like how you go about getting these roles and filling out these characters?
Got you. So for this particular project, well, just in general, right? So I already have a catalog of actors and actresses that I'm going to always work with and pick from because they've been with me since the beginning. Like when we was doing it for free and people just putting their time and talent into wanting to do it. You know what I'm saying? So now that we've been blessed to do these films that we are being paid to do, I'm able to bless people with stipends.
Cha-ching.
Stop it. I'm able to bless people with stipends now and everything. Stipends. Yeah. So
yo, you a cool guy, man. You're a cool guy.
So
I love how you use that. It's a subtle word because it's not saying like what it is, or it's just stipend. Yeah, something just hold you down a little bit. Take the little stipend, man.
But we're able to do that now, and we weren't able to do that before. So like now that we're able to do that with the films, I want to work with people that's been rocking with me from the beginning. That's still holding me down now. So like I already have a pool of people that I already pull from.
Right.
And then if there's somebody in the pool that doesn't necessarily fit the role, then I'll go outside and we'll do casting calls or whatever. But for this particular film, I already knew who I wanted to be in the film. Like I said, Marquise, I know we're gonna hit him up in a second. I know he over on the other side waiting. Probably talking about what's going on. But Marquise, I already knew I wanted him to lead the film. I originally had somebody else, but they weren't available, and I was like, yeah, definitely Marquise. Marquise was gonna be in it regardless. I was just trying to. He was originally gonna be the lead. But when the other person was like, he wasn't able to do it because I told him about the whole trilogy thing. He was like, I'm not going to do it. I'll commit to that. I had Marquise up immediately. He's like, yo, I got you. So Marquise definitely. Lakeisha, who plays the first lady, I wanted her to be in it because she's been working with me for a minute. I really wanted her to be in the film. I knew she could like really. She reminded me of the person who played the role in the play. So I was like, yeah, she gonna be able to pull this off. The guy that played the cousin, DJ was in the play. DJ played the cousin in the original play.
That's dope.
So I really wanted I wanted, if anybody saw Surrender, I wanted them to be like, oh, this is a little Easter egg. Oh, he was in the play too. So he basically played the same role, just the name changed. And then Mitchell, who plays the son, I definitely wanted him to do it. I knew Mitchell has that teenage look, even though he's like almost 30 years old. But
yeah, man,
he's almost 30.
Yeah.
But he
people asking me, people ask me how old he was. I'm like, he's I don't know because he does look young.
He's about to be 30 years old, and that surprised me because I thought he was on like 22, 23, and that's my family. Like I was like, oh, you 30? Dang. But yeah, so. Yeah, so but he still has a teenage look, which works for him. So I definitely wanted him in it. Of course, I wanted to get Bird. Well, her name's Karenita, but I call her Bird. And so I wanted her to be Sade. I knew she could definitely pull it off. She has that sultry. Like when she steps on the screen, you know what's about to go down. So it's like definitely had to get her. Kiara had to get her. Definitely wanted her to be in it. She plays the minister's wife, and then not Pastor Thorne, but the associate minister's wife, then. My boy Donald Ross, he plays the associate minister. So it was just people, all the people I already knew I wanted to be in it. And then the young lady, Asia, who plays the deacon's daughter, I know we're going to talk about her role in a second, but I reached out to her. I've worked with her before. And again, I needed somebody that was going to be able to match Mitchell, not just in look, because she's an adult as well, but she still has that young look as well. But I knew the content of what was going to happen. I needed somebody who could really handle it.
Right.
And I knew she would be able to do that. So I was like, I reached out to her, and she gladly accepted the role and everything.
Well, I'm glad you said it, because without going in depth too much of the film, I do want to touch on some of the themes, right? So one theme that, and you can tell me if you can go by themes, and I don't know. One theme I saw in the film was, like you said, pastors aren't many gods. They make mistakes. They're human, and we've seen a lot of mistakes that he was making. And one of them, not a mistake, but one of his faults was parenting. I don't think he might not have been the best parent, right?
Yeah.
Describe that theme of, you got a pastor who, other people look at it as one way. They cherish, they want to be led by this person, right? Meanwhile, this particular quote-unquote pastor has a hard time raising his own son.
Yeah.
Or getting respect from his own son, or getting his own son to do the things that he's preaching to a whole congregation to do, right?
Yeah.
Describe that theme and how you pull from that.
I think one of the biggest things a lot of times that I've noticed, and I'm not talking about pastors that I personally know, but just things that I've seen again growing up in that world and seeing a lot of times and not just pastors, we in general, we get so caught up and focused on trying to be the next big thing, trying to be that big thing out there, and we forget about home. And with this theme, as far as the pastor's concerned, you see that he's so focused on his name, he's so focused on the church, and I'm not talking about saving lives and saving souls. I'm talking about like the building and the notoriety of everything. He's so focused on that, and the money. He's so focused on all that he's neglecting home. He's neglecting his wife, and he's neglecting his kid. And I think when for those of us who, because you do have kids who don't grow up with their fathers in the home or mothers in the home or whatever. So for me, it's easy for me to respect my parents because they raised me. They were around. Mm-hmm. However, when you have someone who has an absentee parent, this is from what I've seen. When you have somebody that has the absentee parent in their house, is really, and not in the house, but they have an absentee parent. It's hard for that parent to get respect from that kid. You haven't earned it.
Well, you're right. You said absentee parent in the house as well, because like he was in the house with him and he just wasn't there.
True, but in this case, he wasn't because the son was with the mom. So and then she got tired of it, kicked him out, and then I'm not really spoiling too much, but kicked him out, and the father ended up getting him.
Right.
So again, I think like in that instance, as the father, you're not entitled to respect. You're in the position of it, but you're not entitled to it because you haven't earned it, because you haven't done the things that a father is supposed to do to nurture that relationship in order for you to get that respect. My father gets my respect because of his position, but at the same time of the relationship that he's nurtured me as his son. So my father absolutely gets my respect 100%. Now, my father was not in my life at all, but you coming in trying to demand A, B, and C, that's a different story. Yeah, your position as my father, you got that position, but you don't necessarily deserve that respect. No, I'm gonna cuss you out or anything, but at the same time, you can't expect for me to do exactly what you say because you haven't earned that right to you haven't earned that right to that relationship. But that's just me. That's what I believe. So just I don't know, Marquise is ready for us to talk to me. Want to bring him on?
Yeah, we can call him.
Okay, all right. But yeah, so that's what I think, and I think it was important just to show a lot of times. What this is an old saying, but just because it glitters ain't gold.
Right.
I'll jack that all up. But the fact is, like, just because his life looks good the Pastor Thorne's life looks good on the outside doesn't mean his life was good. He had a lot of stuff going on that he was, I wouldn't even say ignorant to, because he knew what it was. He just didn't care.
Right.
He's so focused on him. It's like, whatever. As long as I'm good, then everybody else just need to fall in line. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, from the film, it seemed like he was, at one point he was on track, and then he just lost track of things at some point.
Yeah, because sometimes you get so caught up in in lust and greed, you get blinded by that stuff. Once you get blinded by that stuff, you definitely you can lose your way. And I think with Pastor Thorne, he definitely, again, he's so the name of the subtitle is Lust of the Flesh. And where that comes from, even the name. So we decided the name of the film because I was looking at the scripture there's a scripture in the Bible about Paul. He's talking about how he had a thorn on his side. And nobody really knows what the thorn on the side really means, but a lot of scholars like to say it was like something that he was dealing with, a sin or whatever, blah, blah. So that's what the name Pastor Thorne came from, was that scripture. And so there's also a scripture that says, I can't name it by heart, but it's like lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, pride of the world. Bible people know what it is. So that's what lust of the flesh came from. And so Pastor Thorne's main thing is he loves women. So it's like he's so blinded by his passion and lust, he's so blinded by his urges that he, they got caught up. And again, you get and that happens. You can get so caught up and you're so blinded by whatever it is that you're really, really attracted to, that you're not looking at the dangers that are that's coming your way. You don't know what's coming your way until like it hits you. And that's what happened with Pastor Thorne. So
gotcha. That's like perfectly said.
Yeah, I try sometimes.
Hey man, I know. You ready? Ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
What's up, Marquise?
What's going on, man?
Hey, all right.
Just make sure you got it like to the.
So hold on. So have it like this.
Yes. Nah, you ain't gotta look like that.
Like this.
Like where you talking? Have it the same
like
way.
This. Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's perfect.
Like that. Okay.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. First, I want to say, job well done on the film, man. You did an amazing job playing Pastor Thorne.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
So I want to ask you a few questions. The first one I asked you is like, where did you pull from as far as like getting ready for that character? Like you get the script, you understand. What's the term they're using now? The assignment. That's what they're saying now.
Yeah, they
understand the assignment. Yeah, that's the term they're using now. So you understood the assignment, right? So like, how do you pull from that and give us that kind of performance?
it was interesting when I got the script. Karlton gave it to me, and of course, I got a chance to really sit with it for a while before we actually shot it. And for my process when taking on the role is always, whether and I enjoy playing a villain. I have no problem playing a bad guy because in real life, I try to understand the what's real about the world. And kind of that everybody has a past and everybody has a motivation for why they are the way they are.
Right.
So when I approach a script, I try not to ever judge the character throughout the script until I get finished, and I try to find the humanity in what they're doing. It's funny that you asked me that because I remember having a conversation with Karlton, and I was like, there are no redeeming qualities about this man, and there's really no way to kind of to turn it and to make somehow make the audience sympathetic to him. So my revelation to it was, it's not about you. You may be the lead, but it's not about you getting you being redeemed in this. It's really about your wife, and her being justified in it all. So honestly, I just kind of doubled down. I just kind of doubled down on everything, and I just kind of try to be. And I heard you guys talking a minute ago, and I actually took a slightly different approach. I see a lot. You see a lot of passion, and social media has really exposed a lot about a lot of people. The goods and the bads, the goods and the bad.
Right.
And it's funny that it's so odd that Karlton's timing with writing this script really did come well before a lot of the scandals that's going on the internet, before Honk for Jesus came out. You know what I mean? So he really was. He really was about a year and a half ahead of all this stuff.
Per usual.
And it was awesome because when I was doing it, I thought to myself, it's not just that for me, I didn't take him as loving women, because I think at a certain age, it ceases to be just about lust for a lot of guys, but what these people are providing these men, these powerful men. And he's a pastor, and it's very well known that he's a very popular pastor. So I think that he gets turned on by the attention, people being drawn to him. The fact that he's a leader, he's so successful. I think that turns him on, and in most situations, the women are falling over him. I just loved your word, and da-da-da-da-da. He's an attractive guy, but I think he's more realizing I'm the man of God, that he had put me here, so that's the anointing. So I mean, almost like a king can have multiple concubines kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's I think that's where I pulled from that. But he definitely wasn't a great guy.
I agree. I'm on your side with that. I think that it was more of a power trip kind of thing. I think the women was kind of feeding into the ego of power,
Exactly.
And I think he started to catch on to that. And sometimes you get lost in that. You get lost in that so much that it was hard for him to like really, I guess, take that his son wouldn't respect him. Like, why are you not respecting me? But I got all these women telling me I'm powerful. Like, you need to respect me, man.
Right, without a doubt. That's true. And it's funny, of course, I guess I have a further insight, but it's amazing to know, like, exactly how right you are with that. You know what I mean? And it runs deep with this family, but it was definitely a very interesting character to play, and it was definitely dark. It was hard.
Hold on. So the script is out already? This part 2 script is out already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He's saying he got insights. I was making sure.
Yeah. So like I said, Maverick already, when we first talked about it, they already said they want to do 3 films. And again, the original person I had, he was like, "No, I'm not going to commit to that." And like I said, I was like, "All right, Marquise, you up?" And he was like, "Yeah, I got you." So so the second script, I finished that like a week ago. So yeah, it was either a little bit right before the film came out, the first one, or like a little after. So then I sent it to Marquise and I sent it off. So we were just waiting to hear back when we're gonna start.
Got you, Marquise. So 2 questions. Like, when you got a writer like Karlton, whose pen is amazing, but when he sends a script like pretty much a week or two after the movie done finished, like, how do you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor, one, and then also start to prepare yourself for this next role that you have?
Let me tell you something, bro. Honestly, let me be perfectly honest. One thing about independent film is that I love is the number one thing is from 9 times out of 10 when you have somebody serious and you know that what you are filming is going to be seen. A lot of times you have a bunch of people you film some stuff you never see it, never see a light of day. But with Karlton, you know when he brings you something, it's time. When he say it's time, it's go time. And so a lot of it really is driven by passion. And with this in this industry, you have so few opportunities to really flex what you can do as an artist. A lot of times when you're assigned to these different agencies and you get these different auditions and you get these different small roles, you have very little say so and bringing certain characters to life. You don't get a lot of that say so until you become a name. You know what I mean?
Right.
With Karlton, he gives you the script. You'll have your conversations with him on what he expects from it. The rest of it is on you. You know what I mean? And that's a good thing because it makes you come prepared. It makes you think about this stuff. And not only that, when we do film, we don't have months and months and months to get it done. You know what I mean? We have maybe 1 or 2 weeks where we have everybody coming from wherever they're coming from to make sure we knock this stuff out. And you have to come committed. You have to come ready. So I get excited because I know, number one, I thought the movie was good when I saw it. The response has been amazing. And people are already asking for the sequel. So to know that Karlton was already on top of it, and not only that, came up with a darn good script for the sequel. You know what I mean? He just kind of turned it up a little bit, and brought the drama, it's hard to make a sequel better, and I think he somehow or another did that. But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I get excited when I get work because I know Karlton's it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And also the people who I worked with this first film, probably one of the best cast. And it was awesome when we shot it because it was such a small and tight knit. We really had an opportunity to bond on and off set. So a lot of times when you shoot these scenes, you're not afforded the time to really go emotionally where you want to go to make the scene what it is. Because once again, you are on a crunch time. So we don't have 2 hours for you to sit back and get yourself in a crying mindset.
Right.
You have to really sit down with your partner. You have to trust each other. You have to commit to the scene. You have to be prepared. And those particular weekends really allowed for that. So that was one of the blessings about Pastor Thorne that I really appreciated.
I want to throw in there what he said about the scene. I think when you have people who are not just committed, when we have people who are passionate about what they do, I think it's easy to all right, you can come in and do your job. I think some of my favorite scenes in the film are the scenes between Jacob and Leslie because it's so emotional. And I think because with being there, to see the work that Marquise and Lakeisha put in, they worked together before, but not to this capacity. They was on My Life together, but they only had group scenes, and it wasn't it wasn't as intimate. So to see them together, it was great. That one scene, I don't want to spoil it, but that one scene that they had towards the end was really good, and it was really good to really see that in person. I had to remind myself, sir, you're behind the camera. You know what I'm saying? Because you can get so caught up into it, you forget you forget. It's already hard to direct when you're doing the camera. It's already hard to do that because you're more so focused on making sure the shot is right versus that's when trust comes in with that. For me, that's when trust comes in with the actor. I have to trust that they know what they're going to do and know what they're doing because I'm making sure the shot looks good, it's not blurry and all this other stuff. So just to really see that unfold, I was really captivated into what they were doing. They really tuned in they were in tune with each other. That was the beautiful thing to see, I think. Definitely.
So, Marcus, I got 2 questions for you. So, one, do you think Pastor Thorne was worse as a pastor or a father?
Ooh, let me tell you something. And once again, I love and I'm not going to spoil it. I'm more setting excitement for the sequel, but I love where Karlton went because I don't think we really ever. I had an idea about what he wanted to do, but I don't think we ever talked about my interpretation of who Pastor Thorne was. Because, like I said, in my real life, I literally try not to judge everybody. If you look at it, I know a bunch of Pastor Thornes. I ain't gonna lie to you, and some of them are my friends. And I'm a big proponent of when you accept people where they are, and you choose to accept some of your friends who are less than perfect, you can't walk around judging everybody else. That's how I see it. So I've accepted Pastor Thorne who he is. So me and Pastor Thorne, cool. I don't agree with everything he do.
Yeah, cool.
But I rock, that's my boy a little bit. But I think he's a worse pastor. Because he's not in it for the right reasons at all. I'm very big on. And it's interesting that this was touched on in Hunt for Jesus, but I'm very big on pastors making sure that they are very cognizant and very aware and very careful of their authority, their place in life, the effect that they can possibly have on somebody, and that leadership. So I'm really big on, if you're a pastor, you're not coming on to the people in your congregation because they're vulnerable to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
In a big way, they have you have their souls and their spirituality in your hands. And what you do with that is a major responsibility. So to me, Pastor Thorne's a horrible pastor. Not so much a horrible father because like I said, being older, we kind of recognize a lot of things that our parents have gone through, a lot more understanding of who they are and versus, what we might have experienced. So the mature Marquise definitely understands a little bit more of Pastor Thorne as a father now. Yeah, but he's definitely worse of a pastor, not so much of a father.
That's what's up, man. Hey, look, do me a favor if you don't mind, man. You played an amazing part in this role, part in this film. Can you tell us where we can find other work from you at and some other films you might have been in?
Oh man, well, I've done this. You can find a bunch of my commercials online, like for Food Lion, and I do a lot of print work for things like Frigidaire, Daredevil. I mean, that stuff, of course, through agency that pays a lot of bills. Of course, I do a lot of amazing work with Karlton. I've been in Redemption for Easter. That's on Tubi. I think it's on Amazon as well. Those both did really well. I'm in his show. I'm in one of his shows, Bondage. I'm in My Life, season 1, 2, and possibly a spinoff. If we can get Karlton, get on top of it.
Hey, real quick. Hey, can I ask you a question? Is Bondage a sex show?
It is.
Thank you. I want to make sure because Karlton said something different earlier. We just making sure we're on the same page, my brother.
Let me tell
you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, man, I love the answer.
Let me tell you what's interesting about. Let me tell you about what's interesting. Karlton is like I said. It was my first time outside of my first show I worked on, but that was an experience. And when I tell you my first scene I shot with Karlton was a sex scene. I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? Mine was blown. You know what I'm saying? It's like mine was completely blown, but it was interesting. But when I saw the episodes back, I was like, oh damn. Okay, I get it. Now the problem, and what I love about where Karlton is, he's bold in a lot of ways. And what Karlton says, in my eyes, how I see Karlton, he says, if you guys can take this kind of stuff from Amazon and Starz and these other big channels and whatnot, you can damn sure take it from me.
Oh, he sounds just like him, man.
I've never heard Karlton say it. Like, but what I love about Karlton, he's a Tyler Perry got his whole fan base. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? For what Tyler Perry does for his writing. Karlton puts a lot of people on. Karlton gives a lot of people, a lot of actors who this is literally their dream to do what they do. And for a lot of us, in a lot of ways, that this is the practice. This is the practice for a different auditions and to really be able to flex. Look, I have range. Without Karlton, a lot of VPN actors would not have careers. I'm be perfectly honest with you.
Oh yeah, I like that. I agree with that too. I definitely agree. Hey, look, man, I appreciate your time, man. Look, we're gonna put this out sometime this week, and you can watch it. I'll send you a snippet of your part. So you wanna post it on social media, you can. But man, great job, man. You did a amazing job, Pastor Thorne, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you so much for having me, y'all.
Definitely,
appreciate you. All right, man. Y'all take care.
You too. That was dope. I like that. It worked out perfect. The conversation thing. It usually do, man. I don't know. It worked out perfect.
Yeah, you know how synergy go.
Yeah,
we ain't new to this. We ain't new to this, y'all.
but bondage is sexual. No, I'm playing. But aside from that, he said a lot of things, and I'm glad he spoke on some things, so we don't have to get too much into the actual film. Mm-hmm. But it's good to know that so when people watch it, they know that okay, more is coming. It's not the ending of it, And I like the ending anyway. So, but it's more is coming, so that's dope.
So the ending, right? So we I played with it as far as in the original script. Dang, I'm gonna give it away. I can't say that. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Well, good. I got
I can't say that. I was literally about to spoil it for everybody. Dang it, I can't say it. But I will say the ending went through a change with the distribution company because again they wanted to do 2 more. So
see, this is a perfect segue. You're right. The synergy is great because my question is about more business side. So like, you being a writer,
yes.
So how and tell us how this works. So and tell me if I'm wrong or you just you revise what I'm saying, right? So you're a business, you VPN, you're a writer, you write a film out, you send it to the company, whether it's Maverick, whoever you're doing business with at that time, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, they like it, cool, they like it, but maybe they don't love it. You want this part and this part done, send it back to you. Of course, Karlton's pissed off. He don't like that, but hey, it is what it is, right? All right, you change it up around, you switch some things around. You know what? We love this one, cool. Now you start the film, right?
Uh-huh.
Tell me that process and how do you take when you say, okay, well, let's change this around, and you like, I kind of need that to be there if I wrote it. So like, give me in a professional way. What's your feelings like in that whole doing films for business now, as opposed to you putting on YouTube and you just doing it yourself and putting these series out with like what I say goes and this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
And now it's like, let's just tweak this a little bit, and let's see what happens from there.
Right. Well, first of all, I definitely shout out to Maverick. Like my relationship with Maverick is great. They treat us more. They treat us more like partners versus like I'm working for them, which is great. So we talked about this in the pre-interview. You were at my house when one of my scripts changed.
Right.
Reindeer Games originally was not a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So they called me and it was like, hey, what you think about changing your script to a Christmas movie? And literally we was getting ready to record Fire and Ice, and I had to take the call, obviously. And I was like, sure. And they threw a number, and I was like, okay, yeah, definitely, we'll change it. You know what I'm saying? So, and they literally gave us, okay, but it has to be done by a certain time. So to make it the holiday cut or whatever. So it depends on the incentive. As far as like changing, they're I know my relationship with Maverick, they're not heavy because they've solidified with me that I'm like one of their best writers.
Got you.
So it's very few times they'll say change this, change that. It's more so they'll just make little suggestions so that the movie will sell better. And of course, I want my movies on as many platforms as possible. Not everybody has the opportunity to be on Tubi. I know people look at Tubi like it's the ghetto network or ghetto streaming service, but no, Tubi is actually hitting. And I don't know a lot of people know this, but it's owned by Fox. I know people know that.
Of course they don't. They just know it's Tubi. And,
because you see a whole bunch of black films. You see it's a ghetto. You think it's a ghetto streaming service.
The thing is, I think last year, now it's changed. A year ago, I feel like it was so many. They used to kind of like point out the glitches in movies. Movies have glitches where it's like you might have a red shirt on, they got a blue shirt on. Or you might have been in this position, now you're in this position, or something might have been there and it's not there because they edited it wrong, whatever.
Yeah.
And they would point that out so much, and they'd be like, Tubi. It'd be always related to Tubi. So, and your mind think, okay, Tubi got all the bootleg movies. But you fast forward to today, I got like 9 movies I got watching Tubi. I still want to watch because they all so good.
But look at this though, like everybody. But even with the quote unquote glitches, everybody still is not able to get on Tubi. You have to have distribution to get there.
Like, you can't just post it on Tubi and say I'm on Tubi.
No, this ain't YouTube.
Oh damn. Okay, I thought you could. I'm not on Tubi.
This ain't YouTube.
Yeah, I ain't on Tubi. So
no. So you have to. There's proper channels to get this. So again, not everybody is on Tubi. A lot of people make fun of it, but it's like this ain't no shade. But like, where your stuff at? Okay, and so then, like I said, so even with that, like it's like Tubi. I was saying, you want more stuff. You you want your your content on more platforms. So like we on Peacock, and that's owned by NBC. So I mean, we just got on. We got some stuff on Brown Sugar that's on my Bounce. We just got stuff on Grio. I don't know if people know about Grio, but they got a streaming service now, app, and that. So we got stuff on there now. So you want to make sure your stuff is marketable, so where it can get on these different platforms. So to answer your question, yeah, like if they say make little subtle changes, I don't have a problem as long as it don't change the storyline.
Right.
Or what we trying to do, then I have no problem making those like for instance with A Very Merry New Year. If you watch the movie, it's a good movie, but if you watch it, it takes a turn where it gets kind of dark. And so they made a suggestion to like, hey, add like a montage so it's not too dark at the end.
Right.
So I added it. I mean, it was nothing to get mad about. It was just like, it was a suggestion. It was a good one. And I did. It was one time they made a suggestion for My Brother's Keeper. I didn't necessarily like that suggestion, no. And we definitely had a conversation about it. I was like, no, that's not gonna work. That takes away from what we're trying to do. But again, it's a partnership. So right. I mean, they make suggestions, and either way they'll be like, hey, well, this is a suggestion. You can do what you will. We still want to work with you. So yeah, I've grown to know that you don't know everything. So it's like if somebody is looking in and they're saying, hey, this could make it better, and again, it doesn't change the broader scope of everything, I'll make that suggestion. I mean, I'll take that suggestion for sure.
So, and since I know you, and I'm kind of a similar way, even though you've seen in the studio now. What would be a more creative environment for you? Because you create well now, right? Mm. Do you think you'll be able to be more creative or more hands-on with certain things if you didn't have to be behind the camera so much and you could focus on writing and just be the person that's watching and look at the camera back? I know right now you do everything pretty much, right. Like whether it be lights, whether it be. So I made I got a criticism I'm gonna say here, right? And it's nothing bad. It's just, we talk about it all the time. I said, I wonder how to film. I'm big on sound. You know me, I love sound. Yeah. I wonder how to film a beat if they all mic'd up or if he had a guy. And I said, well, Karlton does a lot of stuff on his own. That would have to be budgeted because you got to pay somebody to hold a boom mic, all that stuff, and then you have to trust that person to actually do their job right.
Right.
Because that can mess everything up. Right.
Absolutely. I am like, Chris Brown has a song on the Indigo album called Trust Issues, and I have major trust issues when it comes to production because there's been some instances where you try to trust people with stuff and then you get in post and it's like,
got you.
It's messed up.
And you can't fix it at that point.
You can't fix it. Like I had a situation where I was working with somebody and the person got mad at me because I told them that their shots were blurry. I was like, bruh, your shots are blurry. They're not in focus. And he got mad at me. I was like, but you the one that had the camera. So it's really, I have to work on this. It's really hard for me to trust people when it comes to production. And I'm not saying I know everything. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But
you don't shoot blurry though,
huh?
You don't shoot blurry.
I try not to.
Yeah, you just shoot over, right?
Right. If I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is blurry, Karlton. Fix that. Gotcha. But I mean, but again, I'm not sitting up here to say I'm the best. I'm definitely not the best cinematographer in the world. Like my skill is in I pen. I can write. I was gonna say that. My skill is in writing. So, but I do all this because I have to. So to go back to what you were saying, like I would love. Like I had wrote a post the other day. I was like, I'm planning on retiring after 2023, and I meant retiring as far as doing the camera. I've been holding the camera for almost 20 years, and I'm tired of holding it. But I know people, of course, they got to be paid for their time, which is acceptable. But at the same time, I, Karlton, am not going to go broke to make sure your pockets are full. That's not fair to me. So with that being said, until I get the money and I'm able to pay people properly, I would do it on my own. I'd just rather do that because again, people around here, I shouldn't say that. People in general, they charging what they charge. I'm not gonna tell nobody to change their price, but at the same time, I don't have to be subjected to going into debt to pay you, right? When I know the basics and I can just get it done myself. So until I have the money, I'll just keep doing it.
And I asked that question as far as like the creativity side because I wonder like if that would alleviate you from doing other things, or maybe you said recently, like, you edited something and it didn't make the fall. It didn't make the fall slot, but I wonder if you hadn't to film so much and you could just write and then trust somebody to film and you just get it back and you start editing right then and there, would that have opened up some time for you to, what I'm saying, get that in? I don't think
people realize, like, people always, and I kid when I say people get on my nerves when they keep asking, because the biggest thing is, like, where's Sweet Mahogany 3? Where's Sisterhood 2? Those are the biggest questions I always get. And again, I kid when I say people get on my nerves. I actually like it. I'm glad y'all want more. But it takes time. Like, again, I'm writing, I'm producing, I'm directing, I'm doing the filming, I'm editing. And editing takes a minute, you know what I'm saying? I mean, man, you know this. Editing takes a minute. And then also I work. Like, I actually work a job. So, like, I have all these hats that I'm having to wear. So things aren't coming out as fast as I would like them to.
But also, there's quality over quantity too. I mean,
absolutely.
A lot of you take feature films. Not saying that you did this for news on YouTube, but you can't just post you can't just give them anything. Right. It has to be
right.
Or you'll be working more. They're sending back. Hey, this ain't right.
Yeah,
so it's like that stuff takes time.
I want to see growth. I love the fact that the thing I love about Pastor Thorne is I could watch Pastor Thorne and I can go back and look at Sweet Mahogany and like I can see the growth in it.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's not spoken about enough. Like putting out your art and your material.
Yeah.
Going back and looking at something in the past and being like, damn, I came a long way.
But this is why I encourage people. I know people like to wait until something is perfect to put stuff out. I tell people all the time, life is about growth. I say, if you have something, put it out there. But you just learn and grow over time. And I joke a lot when I say my stuff from the past be cringe, but I watch it, I'm like, yeah, we've come a long way, y'all. And I'm so proud, especially to see people that I work with, like Chantel Wheeler, like Shataria Stokes, like my sister Kendra, like Rachel, like different people that I worked with like since 2006. And here we are in 2022, and like you see the work. Not only have I grown, but they've grown as well. That's like you can see we've all grown, and I think it's definitely a beautiful thing to see. So I always encourage people like, yo, like if you are just starting out, just put it out. Even with you, man. Like again, I remember when we recorded our first interview. When I did my first interview with you at ASU, and look where you are now. You know what I'm saying? Like you can see the growth as far as just your interview skills, like how you're doing things now. Set things up. It's about growth. Life is about growth, y'all. Like I just do it.
I mean, you think about it, we just had a whole improv without having to stop recording, nothing like that. Period. With the phone. Remember before we had to stop and I had to plug it out. So that was dope, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm with you on the growth thing. I think the growth is definitely important. And I was talking about that when you said about the 520 thing. I was thinking how, like, even back then you answer questions. I said, well, at the time, I always like felt like, man, I didn't get a good interview like that. But really, I think I didn't give a good interview. I think that's what it was. And I think that when you become more personable, like when you go in a room, you can start speaking to these people. You are grown. Y'all connect to each other now. Now you know each other as opposed to you go in a room and you're not knowing that person. You're not knowing anybody.
Yeah.
So now you got to kind of feel your way out. You know how people be. You like me. You're saying, if I don't know you, I'm like, all right, what's up? Yeah, I hear you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then I know you was like, yeah, because the other day, extra information. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm telling you a story. I'm building it up. We having a good time. So
right.
All that stuff matters. Connections matter. And I always tell people, like, when I met you, like, that's the first thing, or one of the things I feel like is just your strong suit is connections. Like, you were big on, I'm going to connect, and then we'll go from there and see what happens,
Yeah.
And I always commend that with you, with growth, with connection, with just growing as a writer. I think when I came along and started, like, to be around you more, you had already made that transition to writing something different. So, like, I don't know the pre stuff too much. I just know what I've seen now. So I know your pen game is just amazing now. It's on fire, man. So
appreciate it.
You got to keep it up, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Definitely, man. Definitely. So, like, tell people, like, what you got coming up next. Like, what's next for you? Like, Pastor Thorne is out right now on Tubi. You can go catch that right now. Yeah. That's the movie to see. What's next for you? Like, the rest of the year, what you got coming up?
Yeah.
You got anything outside of independent films coming up? Anything just for you coming up?
Well, just keep keeping in the films. Like we got a Christmas movie coming out called For the Love of Christmas that comes out November 1st. So that's coming out.
That's the next one.
Yeah, that's the next. That's number 10.
Yeah, you moving. You moving.
I'm in the lab right now editing my 11th film called The Other Side of Me. I was like, what's the name of it?
The Other Side of Me.
The
What's
Other
that
Side
about?
of Me. Yeah.
Can you say what it's about at all? Or no?
I can.
What is that about? That sounds interesting.
Yeah, so it's about two brothers that are rediscovering themselves. They don't have a brother relationship because their parents kept them separate from each other.
Got you.
So it's them basically just discovering each other. I'm editing it now, and I was like, wow, these some very touching films. It goes back from the past to the present.
So you already shot and everything already?
Yeah, it's already shot.
Dope.
Yeah,
dope.
I'm editing it right now. So we shot this like a few months ago.
Can you say who's in it? Or
Kevin J. Stone.
Okay, I like it.
He's in that. Some Bird's in it, of course.
Okay.
Kenita Bird, she's in it. Reggie Freeman's in it.
I like Reggie. You know that. Pastor to you.
Yeah. Reggie Freeman's in it. Chantel, she's in it. Let's see who else. We got a couple people new people I work with. They're in the film as well. Kimberly Newsom, she was on Anthony Catan. She played Monique.
Got you.
Yeah, she's in it.
Yo, you know who I saw the other day? And I'm gonna say that because the person doesn't hear it, they understand.
Okay.
We was in Target one day, and in Brotherhood, it's somebody I know it's gonna sound weird. It's somebody who got spit on.
Brandon.
I saw him in Target. And I'm sorry. I was like, yo, didn't you get spit on? He was like, that's me. you know, he talked. He like, Karlton? I said, yeah, man, I did fine. He's like, oh, yeah. You did it familiar. I said, yeah, man. I said, yo, you okay? I was like, you good? And we spoke for a minute, but I think still, even though it was more of a funny exchange, I think that sometimes that's important to somebody to get recognized. Like I'm joking about the spit part because like he played a good role in it, in all seriousness. But that part always stood out, man. I said, yo, how'd you gear up for that? Job gotta be done. He gave me his background. I didn't know his background was like that, but I just had to say like that's a dope film. Like so when he said earlier, like, you put people on like that's real. I've seen this guy plenty of times all my life in Augusta. And then I saw him in film. I was like, yo, I know him from somewhere. Then I saw him at Target working. I'm like, yo, he ring me up. Like, yo, didn't you? I asked him, like, did you act or something? Yeah, I act. Did you get spit on? I had to ask him that to make sure it was him. But yeah, that's dope. It's dope, bro.
That's dope. I'm just appreciative of that, man. Like I'm appreciative when people, actors, they tell me they're like, yo, I would not be where I am without you. That means a lot. Because a lot of times, like I think I posted this the other day, like you feel like sometimes you have days you don't feel like you're doing nothing. Like you just feel like you're like, God, why am I still here? Like what's happening? Because I know for me, we talked about this before on Fine Nights. Like sometimes I get distracted. Like I'm running my course and it's so easy for you to look to the right and you feel like the person's bypassing you. So it's like you're like, dang, like what's going on? And it feels good to have people that come back and say, hey, I thank you because you gave me my first shot. Yeah, people hit me up all the time. Yeah, you gave me my first credit. I didn't know what IMDb was. I have no idea what that was. Just different things like that. I had one of my guys that was on Sweet Mahogany hit me up. He was like, hey man, I got booked because of this movie. So thank you. You know what I'm saying? Different things like that. It's just different things like that gives you the fuel to keep going. You know what I'm saying? So that feels good. You know what I'm saying? To hear Marquise, say that means a lot. Definitely.
Hey man, that's dope. So like my one question I want to ask you is in the city we live in. I know you said something earlier. I know it probably can get taken out of context, whatever. But what do you think? Because I feel like Augusta is an art city. Like, I mean, people say what they want to say about it. Everybody got their own feeling about what it is, what's this is, what's that. But it's an art city. If it wasn't, we wouldn't have arts in the heart. They can go to any city. They come here, right?
Absolutely.
And I feel like Augusta is a very artsy city. What do you think it'll take for that to be shown on a higher level, if that, or you got pillars like people like you that's doing stuff and can just take us to another level? What do you think it'll take? Do you think it'll take more camaraderie? Do you think it'll take more just independent, doing your own thing, and then when you get out, come back and get what you got to get? Or is it more so you think it's just keep doing what you're doing and see what happens? Like,
I think it's all those things. Honestly, I think it's all of them because me and you talk about this all the time before. like for me, I'm gonna continue. I'm always do stuff here in Augusta, right? So, but I don't think people really took me seriously until I started doing stuff in North Carolina. Honestly,
Got you.
I don't think until when I started doing Lovers Lane, and those people up there was like, oh, who is this dude coming into our state doing stuff? You know, that's when people in Augusta start saying, oh, okay, he's really like he's doing it. So I think it took that. I think it takes, like you said, it takes camaraderie. I think people got to get outside of their own egos. I think a lot, and this is no shade towards nobody in any position, but I feel like people that are in position to help are not helping people that they can. And I think that, you know, they gotta get outside of themselves and really understand the scope and the magnitude of the talent that we do have here in Augusta, and really help uplift everybody that's trying to do something. I think, like you said, I think we've had a couple of films shot here in Augusta. You know, we had people do a couple things, but I think more can be done. But it's so people trying to keep it all to themselves versus trying to dish it out, because there are a lot of people doing a lot of independent stuff out there. But I feel like if the higher ups who do have the power, they do have the money, they actually really invest in the artist here, I think that Augusta can be seen on a bigger scale. I think we could be doing more than what we're doing. But again, it takes people to get up outside themselves and like to get outside of the politics of it all. Like this is I don't know if I should be saying this, but whatever. It's a safe space. Somebody asked me, they was like, Karlton, why aren't you over the film office? Literally, they was like, Karlton, you do all this stuff. You got all this stuff on these platforms, national platforms. Why aren't you over the film office? And all I could do is say, I don't know. I mean, that's not something I'm desiring. Like, I'm not trying to.
But you'd be interested in it, right? You would be interested if they came to you with the right numbers, of course.
To take over it.
Yeah.
It would have to be something appealing for me to want to do that, because again, that's more administrative stuff.
Right.
I think that I'm not really interested in it. I'm not really administrative stuff like that. I'm a creative at heart. Like I tell people all the time, like I have to literally make myself focus on doing the business stuff.
Gotcha.
I'm a creative. Like I just want to create art, you know? So, but yeah, I just think the people that are in position to help need to do a better job of helping and do a better job of putting the opportunities out there. And I'm not talking about I'm not talking about low little, oh, we're gonna put you as an extra in these movies that you may or may not be seeing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, and I'm not talking like little production work. I'm talking like literally like, all right, we got this amount of money. Let's do a studio, or let's do something that's really gonna put something on them. And let's build something. Let's have a network or something here.
Right.
Something that we could do that could really catapult Augusta, because it could really happen. But again, people gotta put their money where their mouth is, and what happens is too much talking and not enough walking.
I like that. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of things, but I do wonder if, like I said, with all the artistry talent we have here, whether it comes from the directors, the writers, or the actors, or the dancers, or the artists that sing, rap, whatever, make music, make beats from scratch or whatever, you know, or the people that got the mindset. You got your even you got your Karen Gordons who always try to network people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she have a hard time trying to do that sometimes because they be give her the runaround. She damn near the queen of Augusta, you know? So like you think about that, and I wonder if it's something that we could do where you build a theater or a studio or something like that where you can film or something at, and you can do this or that at, and it is something where maybe once a year you can put it out and see what happens, you know? Like it's just art that can be created. I know it's in the budget because I watch y'all do it with way less, and y'all not asking for so much more. You know? So it's just something to think about.
I just think, like I said again, like you got the Karen Gordons out there, you got the Kigwanas out there, you got you got the Tyrone Butlers out there, you got people who I gotta shout out Tyrone Butler because he's been doing this for years. Like he is like the grandfather of the arts in Augusta. You know what I'm saying? But at the same, it's still like, again, the powers that be are like got a chokehold on the money and a chokehold on the things that can happen that really can push forward.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I don't get it. And again, and it's all politics to me. it's not really something I really want to get involved with because I know how heated I can get. I mean, just the other day I had to give Maine credit for not going off on Facebook. So therefore, I feel like if I were to get involved with that, I don't think I would be good in that environment. I wouldn't. I don't think I would because I would be so like rah all the time. I don't think I would be able to get my point across, and I don't think it would help the community.
Got you.
So I would rather not, because I think that would be me just thinking about me versus me thinking about us as a whole. So I wouldn't want to put myself in that position to where I'm making us look bad.
Got you.
You know, so I don't think I would want to be a part of that. But I'm hoping that we as independents got to continue to do what we're doing, and I think people are taking notice. And at the end of the day, you know, people, the ones that's gonna rock with you, gonna rock with you.
So, just tell people like where they can find where they can find all your workout, all your material. I know you got the VPN shirt on. Shout out to you for coming branded. With the VPN shirt on. Tell me where they can find you.
I'm trying to get the Brandmaster Maine to get him a shirt.
Yeah, I give me one. I'm wearing. Give me a shirt. I got you one. Or send me the invoice. I pay. I pay for it. I don't bother me, bro. Like I'm gonna do it.
It'd be so funny.
I got a closet full of shirts.
It'd be so funny. It'd be like I be saying, man, be like, hey, yo, I'm gonna get this. I'm like, man, you bought no shirt for me.
I'll be buying them half the time though, but I will though. I promise you, I will. Most times, like they come in. I swear to God,
I'll be crying in my closet.
They be coming here and they be giving me, man. Like the other day, I had got one from a guy. And he gave me medium. I wear large, but I was like, I'll squeeze my little tiny in this. You know what I'm saying? and I wore it. I'm the last thing I allowed. Look at my last thing. I kept complaining about the shirt because it kept going up to my arm. Like it's a medium, but yeah, I wear whatever. That closet is full of shirts that I wore one time, and that's it. But yeah, definitely, I got you, bro.
You the guy though. You the guy though, for real. Seriously, you the guy.
I got you.
This. You can always go to thevpntv.com to find all the latest things about me, Victor Productions. I don't know you to ask this, but I know before I think in the preview interview we talked about casting and stuff. If you're interested in casting, right, the best thing for you to do is subscribe to thevpntv.com. That's like I send out casting notices through the mailing group first. To everybody that subscribe, I send that out to them first, and then once everybody has that, then later on I'll post it, to the different groups and acting groups that are that I'm friends with or whatever, blah blah. So, but the best thing if you wanted to get it, you got to go to the vpntv.com and subscribe, and you'll get the emails and everything like that as far as cast is concerned. And this is just a general thing. Like, you got to follow directions. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you have to. And I'm not trying to be funny because I know casting directors that I know somebody who's a cast for Tyler Perry. I know people who's a cast for different shows, and everything like that. And the reason why a lot of people don't get casted and they get there as soon as they look at it, they get it thrown out because they don't know how to follow directions. If the person says submit your headshot, name, whatever they said to do in the email, you need to do exactly that. Don't do your own version of it because that's the first step to show if you can follow directions or not. If you can't follow those directions, that means you're not gonna follow directions on set. That's normally how the rule goes.
Got you.
So definitely follow the directions. If they ask you to do something, do something. Like, and if you don't have, let's say you don't have a headshot, right? You can find a clear wall and take a picture against it. Don't do the seatbelt. Don't do the club pose. Like, don't do that. Like this, if you're serious about wanting to get in this industry, it's called do your research. Google is your best friend. YouTube is your best friend to find out the stuff you don't know how to do, to figure it out. It's too much information out there in the world for you not to know what to do. I had somebody, and this is I promise you, this is a teaching moment. I had somebody send me I sent them the script, the side to do the audition. The person literally went to a bathroom mirror, took the phone, and did like this. They recorded the audition. And I'm like, what?
Were they good?
The hell? No. And then they weren't even good. And I was like, But the thing is, though, it's no excuse now. You can literally, if you don't know how to do a self-tape, or if you don't even know what a self-tape is, you can literally go to Google and find it. Not MySpace. I'm so old. If you want TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff, you can look on Google and say, how do I do a self-tape?
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to actually put some effort into what you want. That's my advice. But anyway, like you said, May asked about the VPN. I'm sorry. Go to thevpntv.com. Check out our stuff. You get access to the shows. We have shows that are on there that you can watch for free. We have shows on there you can watch on demand. Also, you can find out that's where all the movies are at. But if you don't feel like going there, you can always go to Tubi, Peacock, Amazon Prime, Voodoo Fandango. Like all the movies are there.
He on all that. You can't just get on there.
Huh?
I said you on all that. You just can't just get on there. gotta be a certain brand to get on there.
Listen, it's
on VPN.com you can't watch The Main Way season 1. So yeah,
thevpn.com, The Main Way, and then you asked before too what else is happening. We do have some more shows coming out. We are finishing up The Main Way. I gotta get in the lab and edit that. And then also we got the final season of In Nick of Time. We finished filming that a couple weeks ago, so we gotta edit that as well. So yeah, man, we got some stuff. We got some stuff hitting. But always go to thevpntv.com for your latest. If you want the shirts, get it. Hoodie season's coming. We got hoodies as well. So
about to get cold. Almost October, baby. It's almost that
October,
time.
Best month of the year.
Almost Libra season. Let's get it. What, bro? Hey, any last words for people, man?
Hey, I just appreciate all the support, man. I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to Pastor Thorne, Lust of the Flesh. We did hit most popular. I don't think we're there anymore right now, but we did hit it, so that's all that matters. So we hit it. So appreciate everybody that's watching. I've been getting a whole bunch of messages that y'all are enjoying it. Thank y'all so much. Continue to watch. We do got a part 2 coming, so I'm excited about that. I can't wait to start filming. That's gonna be dope. And thank you, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Course, bro.
Always tell you how proud I am of you, and I'm just grateful to have platforms like this that we can, continue to get the word out to the people. So thank you, sir.
Hey, man, that's what it's about, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we'll talk offline. I got an invitation for you, but I definitely want more of the masters to be there. So,
all right, that's a bet, man.
Yeah.
Look, man, More Masters podcast be out, man. Shout out to Karlton T.Clay for coming through. You know what I'm saying? The writer, the director. You know what I'm saying? All there is, and I wish you nothing but success, man.
Hey, you too, brother.
All right.
Be easy.